at $25. Kids tickets are just $8 for the entire weekend. VIP tickets also available, including some really cool VIP perks. Don't wait to get your tickets because early bird pricing is for a limited time. Buy your tickets and get more information at TwinCitiesCon.com.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy. But with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Clear tonight with a low of 60, then Tuesday, sunshine with a high of 79. Maverick's Real Roast Beef is famous for their namesake sandwiches, but there's so much more. Don't miss out on fish, crispy chicken, brisket, Philly steak, and more. Mavericks is located in Roseville on Lexington Avenue, 1 mile south of Highway 36. Visit their website at mavericksbeef.com.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
It's a good day to be indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Couldn't cut any cut again.
Because all the hippies are trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake.
Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, Cudahy. All my friends and relatives in four directions, you are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. Hey, we discuss local and national Native news and events, and as you know, Chujank, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
Yes, you are right, Dega. And this portion of the show is supported by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Hey, I'm here in Chicago for the DNC, and I'll be, as soon as the show's over, I'm going to jump over and check out the DNC, and then there's a bunch of activities happening down here in Chicago. But Haley, always when you go into a hotel, always check the internet right away.
Yes.
You know, don't lollygag around, maybe think about taking a nap.
No.
Or having people drop stuff off. Check that internet right away because it can be tricky in whatever state and hotel you're in.
Yes, good advice there, Dega. Hey, you're doing a bunch of traveling. You're out at the in Chicago for the Democratic National Convention, and then you were being a vendor this past weekend at the Shakopee powwow here in Minnesota.
Well, don't remind me of that, but it was great. We saw a lot of people that listened to our show and came up and said hi, which was really fun. And then we ran into some relatives and also some relatives down in Nebraska, our Winnebago relatives.
Awesome.
It was really fun. And now I know how to use Square, kind of.
Yeah, well, hey, it's a good skill we all could use, the Square, and it's quick and easy and efficient. But yeah, Shakopee is, always one of the most popular powwows here, especially in the Twin Cities and, probably across the Midwest. A great turnout again this year and great weather.
Hey, well, I didn't tell you this, Haley, when I talked to you earlier today, but Adam Beach was at the powwow Saturday night.
Oh, wow. I think I did see that on someone's story.
Yeah, and I did not see him because I was really busy working.
Yeah.
But me and selfies. If I would have saw him, I would have definitely got a selfie and probably sent to you first because you weren't
Oh,
there.
special. That makes me feel special.
Yeah.
I
People that don't
know.
know who Adam Beach is, he's in one of my all-time favorite movies, Smoke Signals, and he's been a working actor for 30 some years, you know.
Yeah, that's cool. You never know who you're going to see at those big powwows, and people travel from all over Turtle Island.
Hmm. Well, and I'm just really excited to be here, and we have our friend, your auntie Deb, is going to be on later on,
Yeah.
talking about the DNC and our friend the Vice President Harris, and also Governor Waltz. I wanted to call him Wallace. That's how frazzled
Waltz?
I am right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
walls. Forget the T in there, but yeah.
yeah. You know, English and is my second language, even though it's really my first language, as you know by listening to our show these past years.
Past years, yes. Well, hey, something fun is going to be coming up. Native Roots Trading Post was just at Shakopee, and they're going to be at the state fair all 12 days, right?
Yeah, and we're going to do some live broadcasts out there, and I'm see if I can get Haley out there too with me to sign a few autographs and
Yeah.
hang
For
out
some
with.
free pickles, some free fried pickles.
Oh yeah, right. That's close. I could do that.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I could definitely do that, and we could do an hour or so, or you can drive in with me. But I'll be there all morning, Monday or Thursday and Friday, and then Monday and Tuesday, and then I'll be lurking around it, not working. Working and lurking kind of rhyme, but don't get them confused.
The overseer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's going to be an Indigenous Peoples Day at the Minnesota State Fair again this year. Do you remember last year's? It was so fun.
Yeah, your dad was there.
Yeah, my Jaji came out. Yep, your cousin.
He was all Indigenous. That was cool.
Yeah. So Indigenous Peoples Day at the fair will be back again this year. It's hosted by Natives, North American Traditional Indigenous Food Systems. And this Indigenous Peoples Day at the Minnesota State Fair takes place in Dan Patch Park on Sunday, August 25th. The main stage programming runs from 9 to 5 p.m., which will include musical entertainment, food, education, and displays of Indigenous culture. Plus, Natives will have over a dozen organizations from around the community joining all day with interactive activities and providing information and resources.
Wow, that's a mouthful. But it's fun to start out with the dancers and the drum and talking about that, and a lot of food, talking about food. Yeah. And then
I remember last year someone ate a cricket.
Yeah, I tried to, when we were at Owamni, I was trying to sneak one to you and see if you noticed, but
I would have noticed.
I know you would have. Yeah. I know you would have. So that's why I didn't do it.
Someday, though, they're really nutritional for you, apparently.
Yeah. So's eating a big piece of bark.
Sure, I've never had that. Maybe put some, native jam or something on there.
Well, or put it in a bun and have some ketchup on it. Hey, so tomorrow, hopefully, I'll be at the DNC doing the show, and that ought to make us both nervous.
Maybe, depends on how well you can hold that microphone without dropping it this time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Thank you for doing that. That's right. I got all excited. I can't remember who was I interviewing. Oh, Robert Lilligren.
Yeah, NACC.
Those cell phones can get pretty heavy, when you get my age.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I have delicate hands.
And I have the big iPhone with the big font, so I can not lose it.
Oh, that's perfect. Perfect for you, being an elder and everything.
And everything. Don't forget
and everything else. Yeah.
Yeah, we got Dr. Stately coming on too today, and we haven't talked to our friend Dr. Stately, who's a Native American community clinic here. I almost did it, Haley. Almost.
You did good.
Did you hear the pause?
I did. It's important.
Yes, definitely. And it happens all the time. So because we have our friend Robert Lilligren with Native American Community Development Institute. And, I do this all by heart. I don't write any notes down. other than what Haley sends me, which is great notes. So I appreciate you in that.
Thank you, Pinagee. They help me too, just as much.
Yeah, well, it's good. And what I just have to say this to the work that you do and the work we do here at Native Roots Radio is really appreciated around Turtle Island. I hear that, and we'll hear Deb Haaland talk a little bit about how important it is for us to get information out to our members and to our allies all over Turtle Hill, and,
Turtle Hill?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You like that, don't you?
I did like that.
I'm going to design a T-shirt, turtle on a big hill.
Perfect. I'd wear it.
Okay, a little punchy here. You're listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and up next, Deb Haaland. Ho-wah.
When we heal from our traumas,
when we face our fears,
let go of our addictions,
when we relearn our values,
when we live our teachings,
respecting our elders,
cherishing and honoring our children,
when we honor and take care of our spirit,
there will be no room left for sexual violence.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Twin Cities Con returns to the Minneapolis Convention Center for their 4th year, November 8th through 10th. Twin Cities Con is a celebration of comics, toys, TV, film, art, cosplay, games, and all things nerdy. It's also a family-friendly event where you can meet your favorite celebrities, browse the vendor hall and artist alley for the coolest merch, watch celebrity Q&A, and even more. Twin Cities Con is bigger and better than ever before, with guests like Anakin Skywalker himself, Hayden Christensen, Stephanie Beatrice from Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Encanto, WWE Hall of Fame wrestler Sting, and Lou Diamond Phillips. Plus, your favorite voice actors. 3 days of action-packed fun in the heart of Minneapolis at the Minneapolis Convention Center. Tickets start at $25. Kids tickets are just $8 for the entire weekend. VIP tickets also available, including some really cool VIP perks. Don't wait to get your tickets because early bird pricing is for a limited time. Buy your tickets and get more information at TwinCitiesCon.com.
Hey, it's Robert Pilot from Native Roots Radio here to tell you about the best window contractor in Minnesota, 952 Windows. Here's why I trust them in my home projects. 952 Windows is a part of Loyal Home, founded by former window light workers known for their ethics and quality. It's a top-notch remodeling company that's been flying under the radar for too long. They've even sold to competitors' employees who want top-tier quality for their homes. For the best in windows and doors, have 952 Windows take care of your next project. They offer the longest warranties and were rated Energy Star's most efficient in windows and doors. Believe me, I've known the owner for decades, so I can vouch for their excellence. They're not just about windows either. They're your go-to for roofing, siding, kitchens, bathrooms, and more. Plus, they've got you covered on onyx bath and rosebud cabinets. Trust me, you won't regret giving them a call at 952 Windows or 952windows.com.
Hi, this is Representative Sharice Davids from Kansas. I'm Ho Chunk, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Native American Community Development Institute with Make Voting a Tradition in Minneapolis.
Hey, we love those guys. Hey, we have a special guest. All our guests are special, of course, but we have the United States Secretary of Interior, Deb Haaland, on, and we are just really excited. It's the first day of the DNC, and I'm driving on the way there. Thank you so much, Deb, for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me, Robert. And just so everyone knows, I'm here in my personal capacity. I am not here for my day job. I'm a citizen, a citizen voter like everyone else here in Chicago at the DNC, and really happy to be talking to you again, Robert.
Wow, thank you so much. And, I just want to really talk about how excited we are in Minnesota and the 5-state area about the Vice President Harris and Walz ticket. Walz has done so much for Indian country here in Minnesota. We are just excited.
Absolutely. And I don't blame you. I'm excited, and I'm not from Minnesota. So I think he's awesome. You know, a teacher who, you know, are the heroes of our entire country, public school teachers. He's done amazing things for Minnesota. And of course, I was so thrilled at his lieutenant governor as well.
Oh yeah, we're excited, and we just know that the percentage of votes over the last presidential campaign all over Turtle Island, the native vote really made the difference.
It really did, in so many states. Robert, you were right about that. When Native folks vote, Native folks win. And I have supported Democrats my entire adult life because I feel very strongly that Democrats is the party that cares about Native American issues. And I am so proud to support the Harris-Walz ticket.
Sorry, absolutely, I agree. I just lost my mute button. It's really exciting. We have the young ones that are coming out in droves. My producer, my chujunk here, Haley, is a Gen Zer, and we are so proud of them and all the people in the last few weeks that this was announced that are jumping in, and the excitement. I don't know, the excitement's almost like 2008 to me.
Yeah, it is very exciting, and I'm happy for that, because when people are excited, they're going to be more active. And I'm really grateful. I think President Biden, he's an amazing leader, a wonderful president. He thought about our country more than his own personal ambition, which doesn't happen in politics that often. So I think that he chose Kamala Harris as his partner, and he's put the country first. And so all of us need to show our support for President Biden by supporting the Harris-Walz ticket. And of course, I'm first in line.
Right on, exactly. And I do believe the president's going to be speaking tonight at the DNC, so we're really excited to see him. And again, I want to amplify what you just said. What a patriot. When you talk about patriots, not putting your ego in front of the country and doing the great thing that he did is just uplifted everybody, and we're all happy and feeling good and moving in a great direction.
I'm so happy to hear you say that. And thank you so much for, being consistently being on the radio, encouraging our Native family members to get out and be active in all of the things that are important to us. And certainly this election is really the priority this time around, because we know what's at stake. We know who her opponent is. We already know who her opponent is. We don't have to guess. The chaos that followed in Vice President Harris's opponent during the 2016 election, it was really a really fraught 4 years. So we don't have to guess at what that option would be. So we know that we have to support the Harris-Walz ticket.
Well, what's exciting is that as a Native American here, that we know that the aunties lead the way. And how exciting is that the country's kind of coming around to that, and especially the Democratic Party right now with the vice president. It's just really good to see, and really good to see how the country is transitioning into a good way these last few years.
Indeed. Yes, it is. Absolutely.
And, I guess it's going to be electric tonight. Chicago's happening. I'm just really, really excited. And I know, Haley, my producer, you're excited too when that came out. You gave money right away. And it's just like just hearing it from the young ones to go out and vote, bring your aunties out there and vote, and make it a family thing.
Yes. Well, Robert, you might know that the theme for the Democratic National Convention is "For the People, for Our Future." And we know that all too well, don't we, as Native people? We think about the future consistently. My ancestors thought about me long before I was ever born. It's our duty to think about the future and what we're doing today to ensure that our children and our grandchildren have a future that they can depend on. So I'm grateful that Democrats have those values. That's why I'm a Democrat, and I have every confidence that Vice President Harris and Governor Walz will work hard enough to ensure that they win this election, but also they'll be great partners in the White House. And I'm so grateful, Robert, for you really making sure that Native folks are voting, right? It's important. That's what I spent my entire adult life doing, registering Indians every place I could go, Pueblo feast days, Navajo Nation fairs, powwows, registering voters, and then making sure that they got to the polls to vote. Our lives, we haven't always had politicians who care about us in our small communities, in our rural communities, in our communities that differ so much. But we have that in President Biden, and we will have it in President Harris. So I want to encourage all of my, as Auntie Deb, all of my nieces and nephews to get out there and make sure that your voices are heard. Register to vote if you haven't. I'm sure you could call Robert right now, and he'll give you the down low on how to get that done. But this is an important election. It really is. We have an opponent who thinks climate change is a hoax. Things are not hoaxes. We are living in the real world, and we need real solutions to manage our future. And so that's why I think it's important to be involved this election season.
We're not going back, and having the young ones and excites me as an older person. I haven't seen this excitement like this and a lot since 2008 when we had our friends Obama and Joe Biden run, and I think and it's sad because the young ones haven't seen anything other than Trump. So it's really weird, and it's really, really cool. I'm an old one. My first election I voted for was Reagan Carter, and I've been voting ever since. So Deb, it's really important for our young ones to know once they become a voter for the first time, they'll become a lifetime voter.
Absolutely. Yes. And there in Minnesota, I think Indian country has an amazing opportunity to make sure that Tim Walz is our next vice president, which would mean that Peggy Flanagan, my dear sister and everyone's dear auntie, is the first Native American woman governor in our country's history. That is also amazing, and an amazing bonus for our country, for your beautiful state, and for Indian country across the country. So I'm super excited about that idea as well.
Yeah, so are we, and we love Lieutenant Governor Flanagan so much. We have her on quite often, and she and the governor are a great pair. And when they initially ran for governor and lieutenant governor, they did it at the Indian Center and let everybody know their partnership, and they announced it at the Indian Center. So we are excited. And I think one thing too, Deb, is we have to remind our voters out there to vote, all the other important elections like senator, legislators, city council, and go blue.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for being on. I know you're so busy, but it's a big deal for our listeners all over Turtle Island to hear your voice, and we are so proud of you, Deb.
Thank you, Robert. It's always nice to touch base with you and be here. Thank you, Haley. I love all of you. Thank you for your wonderful support. And like Robert says, go blue.
No matter who. Hey, Deb Haaland, thank you so much for being on. This is Native Roots Radio.
Everyone likes a litter-free ride on Metro Transit buses and trains, so pitch in. Take pride in your ride and take your trash off with you when you get off at your stop. You'll find trash bins at every Metro station. Want to help clean up transit stops in your neighborhood? Join the hundreds who volunteer to adopt a stop and keep it picked up. Learn more at metrotransit.org/adopt-a-stop. That's metrotransit.org/adopt-a-stop.
Bonjour, hello. My name is Wabin. I am an enrolled member of the White Earth Nation, descendant of the Navajo Nation, and co-chair of the Indigenous Employee Resource Group with the Minnesota Department of Transportation. MnDOT is hiring for a variety of positions from road maintenance to accounting and more. We offer great benefits. For more information or to set up a one-on-one resume and application assistance, visit mn.gov/careers, or you can text or call 612-257-2388. 612-257-2388.
Twin Cities Con returns to the Minneapolis Convention Center for their fourth year, November 8th through 10th. Twin Cities Con is a celebration of comics, toys, TV, film, art, cosplay, games, and all things nerdy. It's also a family-friendly event where you can meet your favorite celebrities, browse the vendor hall and artist alley for the coolest merch, watch celebrity Q&A, and even more. Twin Cities Con is bigger and better than ever before, with guests like Anakin Skywalker himself, Hayden Christensen, Stephanie Beatrice from Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Encanto, WWE Hall of Fame wrestler Sting, and Lou Diamond Phillips. Plus, your favorite voice actors. 3 days of action-packed fun in the heart of Minneapolis at the Minneapolis Convention Center. Tickets start at $25. Kids tickets are just $8 for the entire weekend. VIP tickets also available, including some really cool VIP perks. Don't wait to get your tickets because early bird pricing is for a limited time. Buy your tickets and get more information at TwinCitiesCon.com.
Minnesota has the only original wolf population in the continental United States.
And 80% of Minnesotans believe the wolf should be protected.
Howling for Wolves is asking Minnesotans to respect our true wildlife manager, the wolf.
Their survival is critical to our ecosystems, our communities, and even our economy.
As highly intelligent animals with strong social bonds, Minnesota wolves deserve to be protected and admired.
Learn more at howlingforwolves.org. Let's live and let howl.
Howl! AM 950 KTNF, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
J&S Bean Factory is a native-owned, community-supported, cozy, artsy coffee shop which offers roasted on-site beans, live music, and baked goods. Relax in the beautiful outside patio. City Pages writes, voted top 10 coffee shops. Tucked into a quiet corner of St. Paul's Highland Park neighborhood, this coffee shop roasts beans on-site from the best coffee-growing countries in the world. Located at 1518 Randolph Avenue, St. Paul. The good stuff.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Clear tonight with a low of 60, then Tuesday, sunshine with a high of 79. AM 950's live coverage of the Democratic National Convention kicks off tonight at 7 o'clock, hosted by Dom and Crute from the Devil's Advocates. Live and comprehensive coverage of the DNC beginning tonight on AM 950 at 7 o'clock.
This is Leonard Pelt here. I am in Coleman 1, U.S. Penitentiary, and I'm listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Native American Community Clinic on Franklin Avenue in Minneapolis, honoring health and tradition.
Yes, they do, and we loved having Dr. Stately on. Welcome, Dr. Stately. We just a hard guest to follow. We just had Deb Haaland on, and we're great to always great to have you on. And you are president and executive officer of Native American Community Clinic. Welcome.
Thank you, Chimigwech.
I'm here in Chicago.
She is a hard act to follow.
Yeah, I'm here in Chicago getting ready to put my suit on and go to the DNC right after this.
Oh, very nice. That's really cool, exciting. Are you going to get close to Kamala?
It's Kamala, and yes, I am.
Yeah.
Well,
I have a cousin named Camilla. I have a cousin. I have a somebody I have a relationship with as a researcher. It's Kamala.
Mm-hmm.
It's spelled Camilla, but she says it's like Pamela, but with a K. Kamala. Now we have this. Yeah, I'm like I'm gonna mess them all up. Actually.
Do you know what I say as much as I can? Vice President Harris.
Yeah. Get
right,
used
Haley?
To saying, get used to saying President Harris.
Yes, and then Governor Flanagan.
Yeah, that's exciting. Gosh, I'll tell you, like, I think I went to Sundance, and I was at Sundance, and this is right around the time that they were sort of kind of like starting the process of like, because like, remember, right before I left for Sundance, he announced he was stepping back, and she stepped right, and then like a week later, the short list, and I was like, Governor Walz is on the short list. That's crazy. But I mean, almost immediately, I was like, I'm gonna put down tobacco every day, and I'm gonna say prayers every day because I want her to pick him. Well, because I think he'd make an amazing vice president, quite frankly. He's got a lot of governance experience, but also just the idea of having our first Indigenous woman president in the history of the United States and have that be in Minnesota is just phenomenal.
Right on. Well, Peggy,
because Minnesota is where we do everything first here. I don't know if you know that.
We really do. We really do. I agree. And what's my maturity over the years, Dr. Stately, has become the opposite of a one-issue voter. I look at the big picture, and I try to see what I've learned in politics. You might lose a battle, but then you go to the next one and have support. And so, I mean, that's kind of life, right?
Yes, that is life, right? Like, so I think part of it is like, I think that for me is the challenge sometimes is that, when I think about candidates who sort of like are single-minded and single-focused, which is, in my opinion, kind of defines the Republican Party. That's just not the way that life works, and it's also life isn't that. Life is so much more complex than that, right? And our world and our relationships are much more complex. And I just think about like how, what makes us sometimes, unique as Indigenous people is that we have a system of thought and a way of imagining the world that can come. There's a reason why we think of the circle and why we use the circle as the framework for how we imagine, a harmonious world to be. It's like inside the circle, everything has a place, and inside the circle, there's one thing that's more important than the other, such that it sort of overshadows it, right? So it's like it's just a perfect way of thinking about it. And so I always use that sort of framework when I try to approach the work I do is like, okay, what am I not seeing here? And I try to invite in voices and people who can kind of help me see the things I'm not seeing. because we're also flawed as human beings. We don't see everything. That's the reason why we have things like lodge and ceremony and those kinds of practices that help us see beyond our capacity right now, so we can kind of be inspired but also informed by our ancestors who've gone before us, and then the unknowing.
Yeah, I agree. And also, I think the older I've gotten too, the more big picture I've gotten, and also been able to ask for help. And whether it's help and also not only help, but also being able to admit when I'm wrong, or to see both sides of the coin. I think that's come with a lot of self-reflection work that I've done as an adult.
Yep.
And
I think one of the
you have.
things I think that is always, we also have a long history in our indigenous communities of being able to work collaboratively and collectively on creating unity between and across nations, right? So, I mean, it's a good time to remind people that the U.S. Constitution and the Confederacy is built on indigenous principles and values and ideas, right? So they borrowed a lot of those things from us, and as white people are sometimes want to do, they also messed it up a little bit when they did that. So just took the parts that sort of sounded good, I think. So they have to work. They have to work on their practices and their principles a little bit. But I think one of the things that I think about, like when I think about, I always try to sort of like at this moment in time, my sons aren't ready to be to vote, but I was driving my son to a doctor's appointment a couple of days ago, and I was talking to him and explaining to him, like, this moment in history, and talk, because he mentioned I was driving along and he mentioned Vice President Harris, and he's like, she seems so much better than Trump. Trump is crazy. And I was like, I said, well, and he goes, we don't like him, do we? And I go, well, I said, you're entitled to have your own opinion, but yes, I happen. And it's not that I don't like him. It's that I have problems with the way he thinks that the world should operate. And I have problems with his policies. I don't know him personally as a human being enough to know that whether I'd like him or not, but I venture to imagine that I probably would have a hard time with him in person.
You're being kind. I guess I take back everything I said about my maturity level, because you're
maybe,
too kind.
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, you are my elder, so I would expect better from you. But just kidding. But no, I mean, I'm trying to explain to him, like, I'm also parenting. So I'm trying to help him say, like, let's treat politics more, more intentionally and intelligently than just whether you like somebody or not. I hear a lot of people say, like, I don't like this person or I don't like that person. Like, we all have visceral and emotional reactions to, although I can legitimately say that I don't like Josh Hawley and actually literally mean that I don't like him. And also I have problems with his particular frame of politics. JD Vance is also right up there. I threw away his book, by the way. I owned his book. I read his book several years ago. I threw it away. I was like, this is trash. Anyway.
Wow, good thing years ago we didn't do book reports here on Native Roots Radio, because you probably would have done a book report for us.
I probably have a different lens on it now because I did it a little bit more. I read his book. I saw the movie, and what's interesting about that is, like, that all this stuff is emerging now. It's like he talks poorly about his own family and his own people from the Appalachian Mountains. Like he talks really derisively about him, right? And so it's like there's something wrong with you if you can't talk, about the way in which you grew up and the people you come from, the people you're actually kind of pulling on this community also to sort of kind of get you elected, but then you have this history of talking poorly about them and describing them as really not very good people. That's just
that also
disingenuous.
went well. And I really like Jesse Ventura, the former governor here, and he had some good things to say about the governor here, and not there's a code in the military, and especially the Marines, is that you don't talk crap about your other people that you serve with. So it kind of goes in line with that too.
Yeah, I mean, I think like I would expect that you would give people the due respect of talking to them directly about the challenges that you have with them, right? So, so I mean, I think that's kind of one of the things I've always, I've learned from leaders before me about the way that in which you have conversations with your colleagues when you disagree with them. And we are going to have moments of disagreement. I'm not, I was telling somebody the other day, it's like, Native people, we don't always get along, and we don't get along really ugly, right? So, anybody that, is a member on tribal council or, has gone to tribal council meetings can see, like, when there's not agreement, it can get pretty ugly at times. But I think that there's a way to sort of like challenge people, hold people responsible, and hold their feet to the fire without having to get ugly and without having to be cruel and not, part of being a good relative is to be centered in who you are and grounded in who you are and know who you are and be able to challenge people, but also give them the space to make mistakes, to learn, and to also sort of like, find a way to kind of bridge the way they think and the way they act to the way that you think and the way you act.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, we're here with Dr. Stately, and we got another segment with you, and you'll join us in our Howling for Wolves howl. I'm excited for that.
Oh, I'm so excited. Yeah.
We'll be right back.
That's better than following Deb Haaland. I'm just kidding. She didn't. She doesn't get to howl.
Twin Cities Con returns to the Minneapolis Convention Center for their 4th year, November 8th through 10th. Twin Cities Con is a celebration of comics, toys, TV, film, art, cosplay, games, and all things nerdy. It's also a family-friendly event where you can meet your favorite celebrities, browse the vendor hall and artist alley for the coolest merch, watch celebrity Q&A, and even more. Twin Cities Con is bigger and better than ever before, with guests like Anakin Skywalker himself, Hayden Christensen, Stephanie Beatrice from Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Encanto, WWE Hall of Fame wrestler Sting, and Lou Diamond Phillips. Plus, your favorite voice actors. 3 days of action-packed fun in the heart of Minneapolis at the Minneapolis Convention Center. Tickets start at $25. Kids tickets are just $8 for the entire weekend. VIP tickets also available, including some really cool VIP perks. Don't wait to get your tickets because early bird pricing is for a limited time. Buy your tickets and get more information at TwinCitiesCon.com.
Everyone likes a litter-free ride on Metro Transit buses and trains, so pitch in. Take pride in your ride and take your trash off with you when you get off at your stop. You'll find trash bins at every Metro station. Want to help clean up transit stops in your neighborhood? Join the hundreds who volunteer to adopt a stop and keep it picked up. Learn more at metrotransit.org/adopt-a-stop. That's metrotransit.org/adopt-a-stop.
Bonjour, hello. My name is Wabin. I am an enrolled member of the White Earth Nation, descendant of the Navajo Nation, and co-chair of the Indigenous Employee Resource Group with the Minnesota Department of Transportation. MnDOT is hiring for a variety of positions from road maintenance to accounting and more. We offer great benefits. For more information or to set up a one-on-one resume and application assistance, visit mn.gov/careers, or you can text or call 612-257-2388. 612-257-2388.
Some people won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is often laced into illicit drugs and used to make fake versions of prescription pills. You can't see it, taste it, or smell it. Suppliers mix fentanyl into their products because it's potent and cheap, and the dealer might not even know. Keep yourself and others safe by knowing the real deal on fentanyl. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the Ad Council.
I'm Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, and you are listening to Native Roots Radio.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Howling for Wolves, protecting wolves for future generations. How?
Wow, that was a good howl. Kind of three-way harmony.
Oh yeah.
Not quite.
Right?
Yeah. I still have lung issues. I couldn't trail. My little didn't trail off as quite as good as I wanted it to.
Maybe we should just like get in the studio and pre-record that, and then we just hit a button
howling?
and just
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Give me a couple takes on my howl.
Yeah, a couple octaves too. You know, sometimes I go up, and then sometimes I go down.
Yeah.
But Haley and I have done it a couple times.
Are you like an indigenous yodeler? Can you do like?
Oh, he wishes.
I do wish. Yodel hee hoo. I always think of Swiss Miss.
Yeah.
Look, the hot chocolate, which probably is not around anymore, but
I think it still is. Yeah. In fact, actually, I dare say that you can actually get Swiss Miss instant chocolate packets that you can make at one of the casinos. I forget which one it was.
Oh, at a casino?
Make your own?
I won't say which casino because I also I'm that indigenous auntie or uncle that will grab like 5 packets and shove them in my pocket, take them back to my hotel.
Yeah.
Take them back to my hotel room.
Bring them home for the kids.
Yeah. Oh,
put them in their Christmas stocking. I know. I've done that. Right.
Yeah. I like that idea.
Well, we talk about here really like how important it is, and you have 2 young ones, to take them to the polls, show them how to vote, see eye to eye to the politicians, so it isn't some abstract thing. Because in schools, we only teach like a quarter of civics, and it's your senior year and you're ready to get out of school. Civics should be taught from day one.
Oh yeah. When my kids were in elementary school in Prior Lake, they would go on election years, they would have like our election cycles, they'd have like practice elections like in their gymnasium and so my kids were doing that kind of stuff. But like I remember when they were like I think 5 or 6, I took them with me to the polls when I went to vote for can't remember, not that one guy, but the guy before him.
Bush?
Yeah. No, not Bush. I've never voted for a Republican.
Well, it would have been Bush Mondale?
Not
Bush Mondale?
No. When my kids were born, my kids are only 17. They're not like in their 40s.
Oh, those mustaches throw me off.
Oh, sweet Jesus. Your kids are in their 30s. My kids are 17.
Oh, yeah.
No. Anyway, the point being is, but also like I'm really excited because I'm going to take them with me, like when I go to the polls, even though they can't vote, because I think it's important that they understand things. My nephew came and visited. I think he's going to stay with us. He just turned 18. So he wants to get his GED and do a few other things, get a job, a few things like that. And he wants to kind of, he's lived his whole life in Crow Creek on the reservation, which is where my kids' family is from. So this is their first cousin. He's going to stay with us. And I was like, okay, you're 18. We got to get your driver's license. We got to get you registered to vote. You're gonna learn some things about voting. So this is a historic moment in time. And you get to have opportunity to cast a vote in this historic election. And so I think it's really important that you do that. And he goes like, I don't know how to do that. I said, okay, well, I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm not going to tell him who to vote for, but I'm going to like help him, because it's important that he understand this.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I got to read this, Dr. Stately. Allison posted up here. She said, we took our kids to vote in their strollers, and when they were really little, our youngest started crying when we got to the polls because she thought we were going boating, not voting.
Yeah, that would be my kids too. Like they would have probably thrown themselves on the floor and roll around and stuff like that. They used to throw themselves on the floor and like just throw big, huge fits in the grocery stores. You know, I remember like, you know, when I wanted to do is like, you know, do my my mom's version of boarding school trauma response and like grab them, get up off the floor. And,
my dad used to say, well, you thought they were asking you for trains when they were handing out brains, so you let yours go by. So I always remember that one.
Wow.
That was a good one. I talk about that in therapy every couple of years.
Yeah. And then I just was like, when my kids would do that, I finally just was like, you know what? No one's going to steal this child because they're like clearly like lost their hinges. So I would just walk. I would just walk away from them in the store. I'm like, okay, I'm just like I just walk, and then you know, after 3 or 4 times they stopped doing that and come chasing after me. I said, yeah, I'm not gonna stand around and watch you act crazy.
Good thing children's protection wasn't a big thing back then.
Thank God. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Poor kids running around in Menards trying to find their dad.
Menards. Do I look like I go to Menards?
You look like a Home Depot guy.
Yeah, maybe. Well, more like Lowe's. Lowe's is more.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, you're one of those bougie Indians.
I'm a bougie Indian, exactly. You know, I do buy my groceries at Aldi only because, yeah, I've done that for years. But you know, like I go into a Hy-Vee and I'll be like, and I'll pull something off the shelf and I'll like, Jesus Christ, this is expensive, and I'll put it back and I'll buy like, you know, like we're gonna go get this at Aldi.
Yeah. Years ago, we Wendy and I stopped at this store/drugstore, big all over the country, and it ends with a wall, or it starts with the wall and ends with the mark, but I won't say anything.
Yeah,
and we could not believe how inexpensive everything was. It was like, but as we were going home, the leaves the lettuce started wilting by the time we got out the door, and it was.
Yeah, like you
go
know,
back.
within like 35 minutes, it's like, you know, it's bad. It's like, wow, gotta eat that right away.
I guess you said that, so I won't get sued by them. But Dr. Stately lives out in Briar Lake.
Yeah, well, yeah. You can just send your grievances to astately@gmail.com. It could come to me, or it could go to my cousin Angel. Either one. Like I get her emails all the time.
That's funny. We only got a couple minutes left. What's going on we only got 1 minute left. What's going on at the clinic?
Well, we are, you know, we've been taking a hiatus from ceremonies, hiatus astis, but we will start launching our full moon ceremony and our cedar ceremony again in September. We have a new community engagement specialist, Molly Montana, and we also have a nutritional healing coordinator who is Connie. Oh gosh, which is really embarrassing because I can't remember her last name, and she's my nephew's girlfriend. That's gonna like really. I'm gonna take a dead on, straight on torpedo for that one.
Well, we better not. We better not boost this to her. Oh
no, I think you just need to edit that part out.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, Dr. Stately. Great seeing you. Hey, we're still here. We are the 7th generation. This has been Native Roots Radio.
Brown Otter, Connie Brown Otter.
And free Leonard Peltier. Now.
Hi, I'm Peter Solak.
And